Welcome to Jazz Time. Jazz Time is an online store that buys, sells, and trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch, click the link in the description below to buy it at the lowest price anywhere online. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Self-Winding 37mm two-tone. Reference 15550SR.OO.1356SR.02. I'm going to talk to you about the bezel, the dial, the case, the bracelet, the movement, give you some history, tell you where you can buy it, and give you my final thoughts. Let's get started. This is the Royal Oak 37mm. It comes from the most famous lines of watches that AP, Audemars Piguet, makes, which is the Royal Oak, which was designed by Gerald Genta in 1972, which by now in 2023 makes it 51 years old. Now, the Royal Oak is arguably one of the most recognizable watches in the world, probably second only to the Rolex Datejust. Now, the Rolex Datejust is, I would say, the most recognizable luxury watch in the world. I would probably say... No, I wouldn't probably say that. I would say that Audemars Piguet is the second most recognizable watch in the world, the Royal Oak line, so it is a very famous watch. The Royal Oak does come in many different sizes, as does the Datejust. The Datejust almost comes in every single size imaginable, and it makes sense that Audemars Piguet would do the same for their most famous shape, and make many different sizes and variations of it. AP makes it a size 34 specifically for ladies, and they also make a 37, which is what you see here. But the 37 can be worn by either man or woman because 37 is designed to be unisex, which makes sense because Rolex does the same thing. They make a 28 small, 31 medium, and a 36 that can be worn by either man or woman. And AP makes their own versions of a unisex, which is this 37mm right here. And the reason for that is because, well, some women like to wear larger watches, and they have a large wrist, and so they need to look proportional, which, makes sense. But at the same time, not every man is the same size. Some men are larger, so they get to wear the 41mm, which is why they make a 41 Royal Oak. But some men are not that big. I would say if you're well under 160 pounds, you could easily wear the 37mm because you won't need a big watch because you're not a big guy. It makes sense, right? We try to make things as proportional to your body as possible. It just makes the watch look better. It's not about how big the watch is, it's about how it looks on you. So if the watch looks too big on you, it doesn't matter how beautiful it is. It's just not the right watch for you. So that's, like I said, if you're a smaller guy, you have a smaller wrist. Some guys are actually big, and they have a small wrist. So that's, like I said, if you're a smaller guy and you have a smaller wrist, some guys are actually very large people and they have small wrists. If you're a smaller guy or a smaller wrist, then a 37mm would fit perfectly on you. Okay, so there you have it. The 37mm is what you see here. AP also is making a 38mm chronograph, and again, that watch is designed to be unisex. They also have a 41. In fact, I just remember AP is also making a 39, and they call it a jumbo. So there's many different variations and very many different sizes. Now, what we are looking at right here is a two-tone. I would actually lean toward this watch for a man because it is a two-tone with no diamonds. If it were a woman, I would probably suggest to have it with some diamonds in here. So this one doesn't have any. I kind of would lean more having it towards a man, and it's a little bit larger too at 37mm. Now, as I said, I was going to talk to you about the case. This is your standard Royal Oak case. It's unmistakable. It has these big lugs. I wouldn't even call them lugs. They're massive. They're huge. Lugs usually have two sides, left and right side. This case is... How can I describe it? All I can say is it's a Royal Oak case, all right? And it's a case that's 37mm from my thumb to my index finger across the 4 o'clock to 2 o'clock. That part is 37mm. Now, let me turn the watch on its side. You can see here on the side, on its profile, it's 9mm of thickness, which is actually very thin for a watch. A Datejust is actually around 11 or 12, and that's more of a standard size, but this is even thinner, coming at only 9. My guess is that's because it doesn't have a lot of complications, just time and date, which is most basic. Or actually, time is the most basic, but adding a date wheel isn't very complicated. It's just not a complicated watch. Now, I just want to show you the side of the case. You see this high polish alternating with brushed polish? Now, this little line going down and it extends into the bracelet. It really makes the watch look like a seamless design, which, it is. Which is probably why, after 50 years, that's just as relevant today, if not more relevant in the watch industry as it was back then when it first came out. It's a amazing and beautiful design. All right, so that is the case, and now I'll move on to the bezel. Now, the bezel, of course, is also iconic. I mean, actually, every part of this watch is iconic. As I just said, it's the second most recognizable watch on the planet. So the bezel is like a porthole. It was actually inspired by when people went diving a long time ago, like 50 or so years ago, when they would go down on these big metal helmets. That's what it kind of looks like. And that's what Gerald Genta took the design from. It has these hexagonal screws that go down the bezel, and you see the top part is a satin finish going up and down. And the side is a brushed polish. Sorry, no, high polish. And then again, it goes to a brush polish or a satin finish, so it kind of alternates. It's a very beautiful design, also a very beautiful finish. It's all around a very beautiful watch. And that's basically it for the bezel. Now, let's talk about the dial here. The dial is also very special. And of course, as I said, every part of this watch is special, but it's nothing normal about this watch. Every part is special. It's a silver tone dial with a grand tapestry pattern with a pink gold applied hour marker. It's a silver tone dial with a grand tapestry pattern with pink gold applied hour markers and a royal oak hand with luminescent coating. Now, they write silver on the website. To me, it just looks white. I mean, they call the bezel white, but that means that's what I would call it. Now, the hour markers, you see, they have gold going around the luminescence. So let me take this flashlight and flash it at it. It's actually a UV light, and you can see that the hour markers, they light up. They turn very bright, and that makes it very legible at night, which is a very thoughtful consideration by AP, because a lot of people obviously want to wear this watch at night. I mean, that's when a lot of us, go out and have dinner or do special events. You want to be able to read this watch in the very minimum. I mean, that's when a lot of us go out and, have dinner or do a special event, so you want to, at the very least, be able to read the watch. You're paying all of this money, so you want to actually see it. Imagine having this very expensive watch and then it's nighttime and you can't read it, so you have to pull out your iPhone and look at your iPhone. I mean, doesn't that defeat the purpose of the watch? I mean, you might as well just wear a bracelet for 1/10 of the price. So I think AP thought of that and thought, you know what? We'll actually make it so you could read this and you don't have to pull out your phone. So having a luminescence on a watch, fantastic idea. Now, that is the dial. As I said, it was a grand tapestry pattern to it, which makes it kind of look like a waffle. And to me, it's very beautiful. It provides a bit of depth, and it's uniquely Audemars Piguet. As I've heard, it's kind of a pain to make this design, so yeah, it looks beautiful. Okay, now let's talk about the bracelet. Now, again, the bracelet is, to me, the best bracelet on the market. Nothing is better. It easily beats the Patek Nautilus bracelet in terms of sturdiness, beauty, finish, in every way. I just think that the Royal Oak bracelet is just the best bracelet on the market. And do I think it's even better than the Jubilee or Oyster from Rolex? Definitely. It has a better finish to it. If you look at it, it alternates between high polish and brush, and the way that it alternates allows it to have the watch play in different light. It really makes it so the watch gives it an additional sparkle, even though it's almost all set and finish. It's just the interlocking links that are partly high polish, and that's what gives it a play of light. You can see, as I was telling you, that high polish down the side, it's continuous down the rest of the watch. It really makes it look beautiful. And let me tell you this, before on the older version of this, not the 15450, this is the 15550. Even before the 15450, you really had a crappy bracelet. I think it must have been something almost 10 years ago. They even had a buckle that was terrible. I mean, it was just terrible. I mean, I really don't want to go into much more detail about it, but they don't use it anymore, and it was a terrible buckle. But now they fixed it, and the buckle right now is beautiful. It's a butterfly buckle. You press it in the center, boom, pops open, but it's smooth as butter. It looks amazing. It has these beautiful Audemars Piguet words on it. It just looks fantastic. Now let's go on and talk about the movement. Now, here's another upgrade in this watch. The old version of the 15450 had a smaller movement. And actually, you know what? I don't know if it was smaller, to be honest. I think they're both 26mm in diameter, so you know what? I take that back. But the movement was not nearly as nice. It did not have this cutout rotor. Now look at this rotor. I mean, it looks fantastic. It looks to me way better than a paddock movement. Not the paddock movement, the paddock rotor, which is generally just a 22-karat large rotor. That looks very old school. I like the cutout. I think it looks very beautiful. As you can see, I think it takes a lot more work to make the cutout rotor too. I think it takes a lot more work to make this cutout rotor too. The rotor is quite a work of art. They used to make rotors a flat piece of gold, which, I mean, it looked very dated like the Patek rotor. I gotta say, I also like the AP rotor better than the Patek. And of course, the finishing is perfect. The bridges, everything here on the movement, also the disc, everything about it just looks fantastic. And I have to say, I would probably say that this caliber 5900 movement from AP at 26mm in diameter with 188 parts and 29 jewels, I think they did better on this movement than Patek, probably mostly because of the rotor. As far as the rest of the finish, I think it's about the same. But the rotor, I definitely would say makes it look much better. Okay, now let's get to this part, which is where I tell you a little bit of history. I believe 37mm came out from AP not too long ago. I would say probably 10 or so years, something like that. And I believe the first version was the 15450, which had an older movement, and then this newer one, which didn't come out too long ago. I believe the 15550, which is what you see right now, came out for their 50th anniversary, which was 2022. It has a new movement, which is what I just showed you, the caliber 5900, which is also beautiful, and don't forget, the strap or the bracelet is kind of tapered in a little bit more. That's yet another difference that is new to this watch. So my thoughts are, I sold one of these not too long ago, and the gentleman who bought it, he was a man who he did not have the biggest wrist. I told him, hey, I think you should probably go with the 37 given that you're under 160 pounds, and he agreed with me. He bought it, he was happy. Now, I could have sold him a big, large one at 41mm or even bigger. Probably would have made more money off of him too, because the large one is more expensive. But you know what? I want to get him a watch that fits. Ultimately, if the customer's happy, they're going to come back. By the way, if you want to buy this watch, click the link in the description below to buy it at the lowest price anywhere online at jazztime.com. Only at jazztime.com, which is why we make these... Only at jazztime.com, which is why we make these videos. We don't want you watching these videos, learning about it, and then buying it from someone else. No. We want you to come to jazztime.com. It's why we make these videos, all right? So anyway, my final thoughts are that you should buy a watch that fits. And if you don't want to wear a watch that is completely gold because it's too blingy and it causes too much attention, but at the same time you want to have a noble metal and you don't want to just have a stainless steel watch as a daily watch, you want to have something with a little bit more nobility and luster and exclusiveness to it, then I think this is a perfect watch in between everyday use and a stunner watch. And that's probably why AP makes a two-tone watch. It has the strength of steel, but it still has the nobility of a beautiful gold. That's why it's a two-tone watch. Also the size. So for me, this watch is for somebody who's not a big person. They want to have a watch that is just right in between. And I think for the price point, which is retailing around $30,000, at least as of this moment, the watch is still above retail, but not by much. We are selling it for around $40,000, but if you factor in tax, 31 plus taxes are almost 34, 35. You're going to pay a little bit of a premium for it, and also Royal Oaks at the moment are selling with a little bit of a premium. And that might change in the future. Who knows? But it's not the same crazy... But it's not some crazy premium. Some other Royal Oaks have like 2 times premium. It's not bad. So it's a pretty good buy for what it is. And if you would like to buy it, go to the link in the description below and buy it at jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.